Hey, we're on, man. We're recording. What's up, guys? Welcome back.
All right, welcome back, guys. I'm here with my good friend Daniel. Welcome to the channel. Damn, fuck. What were you gonna say? I thought you said it well.
No.
What's up, man?
What's up, man? We're on?
Yeah.
We're on, man. All right.
What up, guys? Welcome to our channel. My name's Skyler. This is my boy Daniel.
Yo, what's up, guys? Thank you guys for watching. Let's get to it, man. Welcome back, guys. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. For those of you who have been supporting us, watching our stuff, subscribing and liking, thank you guys again. Once again, I'm Daniel here, and I got my boy Skyler over here.
What up, guys? Welcome back. Again, thank you for all the support, like he said. Thank you for the likes, all the shares. On today's episode, me and Daniel talked on the side, and we decided that maybe it was time to maybe have a conversation about vulnerability and about how sometimes when we put ourselves in these situations and we're, coming from being complete opposite of this and being uncomfortable with this, this is where we want to have that conversation today, hopefully, and see where it takes us. Talking about vulnerability and about how we feel during this journey, personally, each of us, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah. It's crazy because that's actually I posted a TikTok about being comfortable. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. So, and now we're gonna talk about this. So, yeah, just keep in mind that we're coming from a place where we never recorded ourselves. I didn't even, especially me, and I don't even like selfies. You'll never see any selfies of me in my social media. Now, I have videos, but I'm working on them. But prior to this journey, not a single selfie. All my photos were from far away because I was just, I don't know, I'm shy or not comfortable or insecure, I guess you could say. But here we are now. So we're stepping out of our shelf, out of our comfort zone to bring you guys content, right? To make content for you guys that you guys can relate and potentially make a difference in your life and everyone else's.
I agree with you about that feeling, about not being able to let selfies and stuff like that. I think most people that know me from my from my personal stuff know that I hardly ever post. I always get shit from everyone saying oh, you don't post anything. Why is it always your story's never there? Everyone's posting a million one things in their story, and then I'm just chill. Yes. I'll post one thing every few months, and usually it's not a selfie, but as of now, it just it's probably once every few months. It's just if I'm out somewhere and I really like where I'm going, because it's part of the whole social media stuff is that I've just never been big on it, and I didn't believe that I didn't want people to know about everything about that's going on in my life.
That's
right? Because again, but that's how we switched dramatically. We've started to become okay with letting people in and letting people see a different side of us that we used to be shy about, not just shy about, but we've also been just to our own, let's grind, let's keep our business to ourselves. Who cares what people are doing, and we just stay in our own, and we're good at staying in our lane. But yeah, to your point about not taking selfies or not wanting to be in pictures and stuff like that. I don't mind pictures when they're taking of me, if I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
But when someone says, "Oh, let's pose for a picture" and stuff like that, I'm usually the first one to be "Oh God," and girls love taking pictures, and depending on who you are, what family you come from, they all love taking pictures. Yeah. And I just never been like that. I always just felt I like to whatever is going on, I wanted to take that all in at one time.
That's right.
So when I go on trips and stuff like that, I take it all in at one time, and that's what I like. That's my memory. But then I realized that I didn't have those memories that I would love to have if I just took a picture or someone took a picture or a video. Then it's that's your memory to last forever, just in case you ever do forget it.
Yes. No, I feel you 100%, dude. Now when we go to places or I go to concerts or whatever it is, I do record a little bit of it. But then the rest, I just take it in, because there's people that literally record every single song from the concert. First of all, I'm not sure how their phone doesn't die. Second of all, their fucking memories pretty good, because my shit's always getting full, so I have to be deleting shit pretty often. But yeah, man, I mean, it's not even, you're too focused on when you're recording on concerts, especially, or event, you're too focused on capturing it good with the phone that you miss all the details, right? You're over here worrying about like getting the good angle so you could post it on social media instead of actually taking the whole picture and seeing everything. But now with that, what we're talking about, how do you feel now that we're putting ourselves out there and we're doing these recordings?
Yeah, I haven't thought about too much about it because I feel like what we're doing is we're deciding that now we're becoming different men, or we're growing, and we are getting rid of our old habits and we're bringing on new habits to ourselves. And we're, as part of that growth, you need to start learning to be okay with certain things. You have to be, again, the word we're going to use is going to be vulnerable, because you have to just be okay with people seeing you, like, who you really are sometimes, especially if you want to, if you want to do this podcast and we want to help others. How are people going to trust us, or how are people going to, take us seriously if we're not open and we're not vulnerable and we're not, expressing ourselves to the fullest and being 100% true, not only to them, but to ourselves. So now that I'm switched, I still don't pay too much attention to it. I think the only thing is, like, either if I'm editing and we're doing the edits or like the clips and stuff, I kind of pay attention to it. But I don't personally care that much anymore. I feel like I just shed it off, like a bunch of weight that I used to have that people like seeing it. So that's how I feel about it now. So, and I think you touched a little bit about it on your side, but also, how do you feel now that you're posting more, now that you're like, because you put yourself out there, I think 100 times more than me, or about 50 times more, because we just do the podcast and we do the short clips and stuff. But you're also on it with your fitness. You're still on it, like, you're posting daily videos. You're trying to help people. You're asking questions. You're doing so much more.
Let me ask you why did you agree to? Because I know this has been on the talks, but we never did anything. And I want to say it's because of that, right? The not getting exposed or not putting yourself out there. But why did you decided, like, to do this now?
There was a couple of reasons. The same way that there's reasons, there's also less thought into it now. There was a lot more thought back in when we first tried this and we first decided to do it. We're at different times in our life. And I just don't think that we were both ready at that time. I think we wanted to be, but we weren't physically, like, mentally there. Even we needed to, like, change. We needed some growth and we needed some life lessons. And I think that time always has things set up in the right direction, that it just happened and it just clicked. Like, I didn't think twice about it this time. The first time I did think twice. I was like, oh, well, that's going to be kind of tough and stuff like that. Or, what are we going to talk about, or how are we going to do it? It felt so formal, and like, versus now, I think that we're just like, we're just in the mindset of, why not? Who cares? Let's get it done, and stuff like that. So that's where my mind is now, and that's why I feel open and happy and stuff like that. I'm just mentally ready, and I feel okay about doing it.
Yeah, that's what I always wonder too, because now, again, I always wanted to do this, and it's always been in the back of my head, but never really actually pulled the trigger, like we say, right? So I'm glad now we're here, and again, I'm sure a lot of people could relate to us. So that's one of the main reasons why I started to do this. Now, to answer your question, you did ask, like, how did I feel starting?
Yeah,
right?
now that you do all this extra stuff, not just the podcast, but you're doing the fitness journey and you want to help people. And I see that you're excited about it. I see that it's making you happy, making you feel good. And it's like, you feel like there's like a purpose, and that you feel like you have a purpose. So that's what the question is, like, how do you feel about putting yourself so far out there? Physically, mentally, and all the aspects, like everything encompass it. Like, how does it make you feel right now?
So right now, I mean, let me take you back to a couple years back, even like before you met me, right? Because, I mean, I always been like an introverted. I say I'm an introverted, an introvert person wanting to be an extroverted, So I put myself in tough situations where, like, I have to talk to a stranger, or I go to seminars where I have to introduce myself to people. So I've been doing that, like, for years now. That I knew, in order to grow and become better, not just for what I'm trying to do, but just as a person, I need to put myself in uncomfortable situations. one of the things that I struggled with was, I'm Mexican, straight from Jalisco, and says English is my second language, so that's one of the things that always been in the back of my head, like, okay, the way I speak, it's dumb, or like my accent is too like harsh, and people are not gonna understand me. So that's been a thing why I never really liked recorded like videoing myself or posting videos out there. Selfies is a whole different thing, right? But just recording myself how I'm doing it now, it's been difficult for that, because obviously, and everyone around me, like my friends and stuff, even they speak Spanish, so we'll still communicate in Spanish or explain in Spanish or do bust jokes in Spanish, because it's a whole different story, right? Like, yeah. And then now doing this, it's just like, again, it's like a whole different Daniel. It's even now I'm still working on it, because I have to rewatch like my videos, the TikToks that I make or the Instagrams. I have to record them like 5 to 7 times in order to post one, just like how girls take 20 selfies to post one. I have to record like 7 times in order to post one. And then at the end, even if I don't like it, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just going to post it. So it's been quite a challenge, I guess you could say, that now I'm getting comfortable with it. And like I mentioned earlier, like I'm being comfortable doing uncomfortable things. And now whatever happens or whatever situation we need or I need to do now because of what we're doing, we could tackle it with no second thoughts, right?
So you were saying that, you have to post multiple videos and stuff like that, or you make multiple videos before you post one and stuff. Do you feel like that level of like cringe about yourself? How everyone's like, you just look at yourself and like, oh my God, like my voice, my hair, my this, my that. That was like previously. So now that was previous, that you really didn't want to do that, and now that you're struggling, but you accomplish and you still overcome it, and you make 5 videos and you still choose one. So how does that level change with you? Like whether before and now, how has that, like, do you just say fuck it after like 5 tries, or like what is your thought process real quick on that?
Pretty much, dude. I do say fuck it. I keep telling myself when I'm doing shit that people don't give a fuck. Like they don't care. They're minding their own business. So when I'm at the gym and I'm recording and I see people like just pass by, I kind of like stay quiet, but then I tell myself, okay, they don't care, They're just here to work out. I'm here to work out as well and to make content for you guys, So for people who grew up like me or who've been struggling with seeing the difference in whatever situation is, then for them to relate. So now I just say fuck it and just post it. And even now I still cringe. I'm like, fuck, I should, especially now because of my like my English, right? I'm so like insecure, I guess you could say, on that. So I'm mostly checking for the audio instead of like the visuals to make sure like, okay, I said this wrong, or like, fuck, next time I'll say this, or like substitute the words, or editing the captions to make sure it reflects what I want to say. But that's the only thing. But aside from that, just fuck it, and then I post it.
That's freaking dope, man. Like I really admire that freaking that anyone can overcome like certain things, and which it leads me into my thoughts and stuff like that about. I said a year ago, and you're probably like not even believe this, but a year ago I was in a book club, and the lady asked me when I joined, she goes, "So why are you here, Skylar? Like, why did you join this book club and stuff?" And I literally said your words. I said, I need to start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And part of that was because I was going through a lot at that time. Last year, I went through a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. I went through so much of that, and, panic attacks, and I had no idea what was going on with me. So what I did after receiving that, like after having all those feelings and going through certain panic attacks, and having like, I wasn't every day, but it was enough to like, scare the shit out of me. Yeah. And when's the next one gonna happen? So what I decided is that it's mind over matter. Like I said, fuck it. Just like you did. I said, fuck it. Like the only way to do this is if I'm getting anxiety or if I'm getting like all this stuff that I'm feeling right now, I need to put myself extra out there, and be doing things that are uncomfortable so that I don't feel the anxiety, like the social anxiety, because I was getting social anxiety. I was getting depression of like not being where I mentally want to be in life. So I had all that going on, and I said those exact words, and it's freaking just like they said, okay, well, let's start with that, and I did the whole book club, and it was amazing, and it was about the 7 laws of I'll post it in the comments. Okay.
No,
But yeah, it's a great book. It basically is like, and I have reminders still going on and stuff like that, like the laws of karma, law of forgiveness, like all this stuff. It just like, and that really helped me because I read the book when I was younger, when I was 20 something, but it really helped me now reading it and watching everyone else's opinion, what they took from it, what, all my friends and stuff like that. That really helped me at that time. It wasn't how I overcame it at all, but it was a step forward.
Yeah. And I mean, I could imagine, dude. Yeah, I didn't know that. And if you're feeling some type of depression and stuff, then it's a process. It's a process. It's not something that from one day to another you're good already or you're over it. It's a lot. It takes a lot, and for people to actually admit that, like, oh, I'm depressed and stuff, because usually, nowadays they just say, oh, you're a bitch, just move on, or they just make a bigger deal of what it is. We just gotta be realistic and take what you're feeling and just let it out and talk to someone about it, right? So that was brave of you, dude, to say and to say here, So it takes courage to do that. And then going back to the book, how you mentioned everyone saw or read it differently and took different points of view, and that's pretty much what we're doing here. This is our point of view. That maybe the audience who watch this, they're gonna take whatever we saying and their point of view, and they're gonna start implementing it in their life. So just however you're feeling, really, and just if it scares you, you're going the right way. Obviously, as long as it's safe, don't fucking go into a fight scared and say, oh, Daniel said I'm doing the right thing. No, like if it's something scary, like talk to a stranger, approach a girl at a bar, or like start that business, whatever it is that you're trying to do to better yourself. If it's scaring you, then you're going the right way.
It needs to scare you. Like life sometimes needs to scare you, and it's kind of like it was like a wake up call.
Yeah.
And it could have been, to touch a little bit more on it, like how like the certain things I was feeling and stuff is like it was basically like life saying, hey, are you gonna continue the path that you want, or are you gonna live the path that life is giving you? And what I mean by that is I wanted to still drink fucking, all the time. I still love partying, not to a full extent, but to enough where I still wanted to drink every weekend. At that time, you were still drinking at that time, right? So like we were still going out. We had all these responsibilities and all these, and I felt that sometimes I would come back after like a couple of days, like let's say the weekend, I'm drinking, and then Monday hits, and like damn, I still have all this shit. Like all I did was escape every weekend instead of dealing with my problems.
Yeah.
And dealing with the situations for the bigger situations, I was just, trying to forget them. I was saying, fuck it, I don't care. You can only bury so much down before it's going to come right back at you. So life gave me a choice. And what I'm glad, because it changed, again, my mind. Again, like I didn't think I was going to grow that. Like I was wondering how long it would take me to come to that next step, that next chapter.
That's
where
right.
my brain just expands and I feel like the excitement of life, and I see things and want to do things besides like where I'm at. So I'm so happy that it happened, even though it was like, again, it was tough, and there was a bunch of stuff going on, like not knowing how to feel, not knowing if it was gonna be that moment that you couldn't do something, because if it does happen, it's a fucking shitty feeling when you get anxiety and stuff like that, and there's a lot of people that are dealing with that. But and then what you said earlier about, people are just saying like put up or shut up, most of us men were not able to express ourselves. But in the past years, I don't know if you've seen, but I think in the past year or two, especially after the pandemic, I have seen mental health awareness of men come more open, and men being more vulnerable, being more capable of saying how they feel or what's going on with them. And I think that's like pushing us in a better direction versus shoving it down our throats, saying this is not, like, we're not supposed to do, like, as men, you're supposed to just fucking handle your business. To a certain extent, I still believe that. I still believe that we are providers. We are strong. We are like, we're basically like, not to I don't want to take it any, I don't want to make this sound like any way that it's not, but we are kind of head of household, and we are the ones that, like, kind of guide the family. But we wouldn't be able to do that without that significant other. Not you can't do
Yes.
that without your partner. You can't do that without your wife or your girlfriend. You can't do any of that without them. That love and support. But I feel like as men, we put that big burden on ourselves that we have to take care of everything because that's what we were taught.
No, yeah, definitely, dude. I agree. I agree. Also, I think that we should open up, say things how we feel. Don't take it in. Like, don't just stay quiet. But also, it's important the people that you surround yourself with. You know, you have to make sure you trust those individuals. You got to make sure we have the same purpose. Like right here in with us, I'll be more than comfortable expressing how I feel, my feelings, you know. But I'm not gonna tell my coworker like what I'm feeling, you know,
Yeah.
because we have the same mindset that we're want a girl that they wouldn't understand. Maybe they will be like, "Well, stop being a bitch and keep going," because they're just stuck there. They don't wanna keep growing, you know, because they've been there for so long or whatever case may be. But you also have to get that inner circle, that circle influence. They have to be on point too, because if they're not, then they're just gonna make fun of you. You know, like one of my mentors, he tells me like he tells us like the whole group like it's okay to feel some type of way. It's okay to feel this. It's okay to do that. But what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
You know, instead of saying, "Oh, you're a bitch, shut up and keep working," he tells you that it's okay, keep working, or he tells you usually what I do, I stop what I'm doing, I do like 100 push-ups until I start feeling better.
Yeah. Yeah, that would help too. You know, like we'll tie that. I want to tie that in with fitness and health because I will tell you that I wasn't working out during the time of like during when that was happening. I was so busy with other stuff. I wasn't really working out. I was still like in decent shape, but I wasn't like going to the gym and stuff. But I remember like I was just sitting there and I was like, you know what? Like I'm not hitting the gym and stuff like that. My mental health is not there. I was like, why don't I just go to the gym? Like, what am I gonna feel? I was like, fuck it. So I went to the gym and I had the like a hugest endorphin fucking rush when I was fucking running. I ran fucking at least 3 miles and I haven't ran the whole year. Like it was all that
Yeah.
shit I did like, and I fucking just ran and until I fucking felt like in the back of my neck like all the fucking like feelings and almost to like where I was emotional, but at the same time I was excited, I was happy, and I just freaking and I worked out and that fucking just like it blew my mind. I was just it reminded me of why I started working out, why we started being healthy, why we make life decisions about like that because the food intake that we do is like changes the way we think, the way we feel, like our health wise, right? So does working out. If we don't have the right mind and if we're not hitting the gym, and not just the gym, but walking, some physical activity, your body doesn't know how to act, especially if it's done that, like it was doing that my entire life. I've always been fully active. I've always been in the gym. I've always been in sports and stuff like that. So for my body for me to cut it off because of the pandemic and not being off and on and stuff, I think that was part of it. And taking that leap and jumping in back into the fire and saying, fuck it, I'm just gonna go back to the gym and running was so big. And like it was like I would tell that to anybody if you're depressed, go to the fucking gym. Like I've seen people say that if you're depressed, go to the fucking gym. It seems hard, but it's not. Once you're there, I've had so many good moments where I'm just like, I'm working out, I'm angry, I'm hitting the gym.
Yeah.
I'm like, anxiety, whatever, like during that time. And I would get that euphoria of just like, fuck yeah, like I fucking did this shit. And you feel so good after.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing negative about going to the gym. Like there's no, unless like you try to lift super heavy, something that you can, and then you hurt yourself. And okay, But yeah, dude, I've heard it, I've seen it, I felt it. If you're feeling some type of way, any negative feeling that you're feeling, go to the gym, do a quick run. Even right there where you're at, while you're standing, do some push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, some type of like physical activity, like you mentioned. You're not gonna feel worse. Like that's guaranteed, dude, and it's scientifically proven. And we could bring out the science, but that's what I'm trying to encourage people, dude, especially the community that I grew up with, or like where I live and stuff. They don't know better, they think like the gym is just to be buff for yourself and to look cool or whatever it is to get the girls. But no, it's more mental, you know, it's more for your mental self, not just fucking fuck the girls, man. I'm try to feel good for myself, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
What are you thinking about anything when you go to the gym? Because I know personally, like when I'm in the gym, you're literally counting your reps and stuff like that. So your brain is kind of like if you're on vacation, like we talked about last episode, like your brain just goes into this mode of where you're just so focused in that and you're so in that moment. But is that how it is for you, or do you think about other things? Do you think about things that are like frustrating you? Do you think about like what kind of thoughts do you have as you're at the gym?
It all depends what I'm doing. If I'm walking, I try to now just stick to pure like positive thinking, manifestations, mantras. Everything when I'm doing something like physical activity, I try to stick to that. Because back then, like okay, yeah, I got in a fight with whoever, right? So I would be at the gym, mad about it, replaying the argument that I had.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I I mean, in essence, that's not really like yeah, I'm working out, but my brain's still in the negative state.
Yes.
You know, so now what I do at the gym, as soon as I walk in, just nothing but positivity, and as I'm repping, then it goes blank. Like it's just on vacation, and it's just focused on the reps, looking at myself, make sure I'm getting that pump. You know.
Yeah.
But aside from that, once I'm doing my rest, it's just again just positivity, affirmations, looking at myself. I mentioned in one of my Instagram videos about visualizing your goal. You know, visualizing shit that's yet to come. So kind of like manifesting, right? So
Yes.
if as I'm working out, I'm seeing myself already crawling 35, 45. If I'm barely doing 20, you know, and just shit like that with the sick ass six pack or like dope quads or whatever it is that I'm visualizing, or my next career or my next milestone with the podcast, or just nothing but positivity, man.
Yeah, I do the same as well. When I'm thinking, I don't think much when I'm at the gym. It's usually like I'm just like I'm pushing myself and I'm saying you fucking got this. Keep going.
Yeah.
Fucking one more, one more, one more. And I just keep trying to do that to myself until like I feel like I just can't do it anymore because I'm just like okay, there's my 100 reps for that muscle. Then I gotta do the next one or something. But that always helps because I if you don't talk to yourself in a nice way, in a positive way, like we've said before, if you don't talk to yourself nicely, you're only gonna get negative things. So like that's also a way of like why some people don't lose weight at the gym or why they don't meet their goals is because they're talking to themselves the wrong way. They're not coming to themselves from a place of love, from a place of positivity, where you say, I got this, I can do this, like visualize what your body's gonna look like, and they might laugh and they think that's fucking stupid and it's funny and whatever, and then maybe it's not true to them, but just because they don't believe it doesn't mean it's not true.
That's right.
It's to ourselves, like to each their own, but to our how we think in our brains is, it's our life and our world. So we're allowed to think those things. We don't have to share them with you guys. Like we don't have to share them with these people. But if we do, we do. And they can laugh all they want. But whatever I believe is 100% true. At that moment.
Yeah, and that's the point of this, right? Where we're stepping out of our comfort zone and share our thoughts with you guys, really, because just how we like the conversations that we're having here they're probably new to him, but they're for sure new to me. Some things that I haven't heard before coming from Skylar, and I'm just like, okay, well, it's crazy because I've been knowing him, and we've been having the same feelings, we've been having the same thoughts. Now it makes me wonder, like, how many people are out there having the same type of thought, and they don't, just because they're afraid to talk to someone, they're afraid to start getting that circle influence or that inner circle, or to go look for someone, they decide just to keep it on their own and keep struggling, or still overweight, on depression, or still sad, or whatever it is. But we made a leap of faith, like we say, and just get it, just be open, transparent with each other, and now here we are learning things from each other and becoming better persons.
Yeah. So I'll touch a little bit on that. I was like, we've known each other for a while. I mean, 5 years at least, if not more. And I think that some people don't open up at certain times because, like I've had this a certain to a certain extent, I've had this mindset for a long time, and I didn't want to talk to anybody about it except for people that I knew that had in the same mindset. So like, you know, my buddy Ray that I've known for like almost 10 years and stuff like that. Like my friend Nazar I've known for almost 15 maybe. Like I had a group of friends that I knew that I can go to have deep conversations. And I knew that others weren't ready to have those conversations, and I didn't want to be the one that like I starts talking and you're like, what the fuck, and you know, like I think some people are just not ready at certain moments, you know, and I think that's also why maybe we didn't have these conversations earlier. But then again, we also weren't in the same place. We weren't sitting having a conversation.
That's right.
We weren't just catching up. We would catch up and we would have some like small talks, like we would, you know, golfing, sort of, and like what our ambitions and like with the boys and stuff. But it's not the same as like fully having like, hey, what's up, man? How you been? Like, let's talk, you know. And we do that with some of our friends because we feel open enough to do that. And I think I will say that there is a big change in you that I want to just like congratulate you and applaud you and give you like, you know, more. I hope all more blessings to you, man, because you've came a long way mentally, mentally being vocal about like the stuff that you wanted to do and like, you know, being open, being vulnerable, and doing this podcast and stuff like that. I can see it in your eyes just as much as me, that the hunger that we have that we want to do, and that maybe we didn't have when we, you know, a few years ago.
We tried, yeah.
So I really freaking like, you know, like how you're changing, like the way you talk, the way you say things, the way we conversate has deepened our relationship about 10 times more than it would have if we just continued to only hang out when we
what we're doing. Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. And you know, the flowers go to you as well, because it takes something to be here and be like, again, just expressing ourselves how we feel. It goes back to the 15 individuals that have been seeing our videos, you know, because we do have like 15, 20 views, so yeah. It's okay though. But you know, it's just, the point is that we have to start learning how to be uncomfortable. Like, again, just make that a norm, you know, make that the norm. Do shit that scares you, and start choosing the right people too. That's very crucial too, because we believe we have the right group of friends just because we've been friends since elementary or since high school, or so it's like you have to learn how to choose your circle. I've learned it the hard way, you know. I was always like an introverted, so I didn't know. I just trusted everyone, or like whoever was around me, just because their bad habits will become my bad habits. And don't want to get in detail to that, but you know, that's one of the main reasons why I stopped drinking. You know, I've been sober for like 8 months now, and it's been hell of a journey. Sorry. And now we're here, you know, just sharing with the folks that hopefully they're going through the same thing, and they know, if you're watching this, just know that it's okay. Like, your life is about to change, but you just got to be open-minded and start stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, so I loved how life works, because it comes full circle. So what I had a conversation with my buddy, and he's gonna know when he sees this. So we had a conversation, and we again, the reason I brought up vulnerability and stuff like that, he was talking to me. We had a conversation about what maybe we should talk about, what maybe we should bring to like being open and stuff, you know, for the viewers and stuff. And then he also mentioned, and then we also had a conversation about friends that used to be friends that are no longer friends. And I believe that we're all on a different path. We're all on a path. Sometimes we merge together, sometimes we merge apart. Yeah. And with some friends that, you know, my day ones, my freaking hardcore friends that I've been friends for years and years, for over 15 years, and then we just, you know, one day stop talking, or like from one sort of, we slowly, gradually spread apart because I wasn't doing the same things with them anymore. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't out drinking. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to put myself as victim and part of that. I didn't want to feel the obligation to like drink all the time or do the same things. I was so over the conversations about what we used to be back in high school, back in everything. I was so over that I always would say, okay, like, why are we always talking about our past? Like, what are we going to do like in the future? And, you know, I don't know if they're gonna be watching this. I mean, maybe they'll still support me. And I want them to know that, you know, out of love and everything, it was never out of disrespect. It wasn't because I hate you that I stopped talking to you. It wasn't because we just grew apart because our paths changed. Like, you know, like I wanted to be I want something for myself that I had to become that lone wolf. I had to try to do new things. I had to, you know, spread out. I had to focus my mind. I had to train my mind. I had to do all these things to become a better person for myself, because like I said, like we said before, you know, they don't pay my bills. They don't make my life, you know, like, you know, friends are there to like help and support you, but it comes to a point where you got to help yourself. Yeah. And the one way to do that is you make that change. And sometimes you have to step away from friends and family and make that change. And, you know, and they might be like, oh, like, you know, Skylar doesn't care about me anymore, or Skylar's changed, or, you know, oh, he thinks he's fucking better than us. And it was never the case. I just wanted to be, I needed to be where I needed to go. And I didn't think that, and I still don't think that if I would have stayed in my same path, there's no way we would have been there. Same with you. There's no way you would have been in the same path if you stayed drinking, if you stayed with the same crowd. We have to flow, and I hope that we all flow back together one day. Like we said, you know, how we used to have short conversations, but then now we're having deep conversations and stuff. I really hope that maybe some of my friends that used to be really close to me will come back somehow in my life, and we'll intertwine, and we'll have great conversations again, and maybe hang out. But it won't happen if they are deciding to stay in the same path. If they're not moving forward, if they're not striving to be better, if they're not, and that's just, you know, that's life at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, dude, my mentor is always telling us, like, it gets lonely, bro. Like, this journey gets lonely, especially if you try to be better, especially if you try to be, like, take your family out of this community, or, you know, move them to a private school, whatever, you have kids and stuff. So it gets lonely, and it does, bro, because not everyone is aligned with your goals, right? Like, maybe right now their priority is to go out and have fun and drink and all that. And for me, it's just like, fuck that. I'd rather just save that money and just keep saving it and not fucking get drunk, you know? Because at the end of the day, what does it bring you, you know?
Like, you can relax for that little moment. Like, it's all good, and it's all good if you want to relax for a little bit. But
you're just like, kind of like you said, like, you know, you're living for the weekend. When you're drinking, you're kind of like numbing your troubles or what's going on. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it gets lonely. And I mean, my friends, I never had a big group of friends. I used to talk to a lot of guys in high school and stuff, but after high school, it's only been like selected. And even then, like, again, if they're probably, like you said, they're probably gonna be watching this and stuff. So we have different expectations of life, or different like goals, I guess, you know. I don't hang out with them. Even some of my friends, again, they do think like, oh, you think you're cool because you're always like, I'm inviting you out, but you don't want to go. Well, you could go do this instead, you know? And at the end of the day, it's my own journey, our journey. And if they're not aligned with the same goals or mindset, they're really just holding you back. So you just got to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to see some of your friends go, and it's hard to see like the path. Like you said, it's lonely. And I've lost a lot of friends, as far as, you know, some have passed away, were taken from us, and some are like by choice, and others are, you just move past. So I would have never, like, if you would have asked me when I was younger, like, oh, how many friends you're gonna have when you, like, I thought I was gonna have all my high school friends. Like, I thought for sure my pack, my circle, my day ones, everything we're gonna be diehard forever. And, you know, 2 of them were taken away from me, and then you know, the others where we just grew apart, and transitioned to that during the same time, you know. Mm-hmm. So I was fortunate to be around friends, and at that time, it was where we needed to be, and now it's where we're headed, you know. So we are where we need to be, and I hope that we continue to we grow, you and I hope that we continue to go on the right path, and take us wherever whatever our goals are. Like, that's where we need to be. The friends I have now that surround me, mm-hmm. are all motivated. Like, we're all motivated. you know, and that circle is 10 times stronger than the circle. Than it's crazy, but it is stronger than the day ones because your day ones are always like. I think I even heard that someone said once, you know, the day ones were there first, but your day twos are ones that you chose. You know, so we chose to be friends.
That's a good one.
That's fucking deep.
Yeah, that is. That's bro. That's deep. And like I said, if they don't change, you gotta change. Somebody has to change. You know, if they're not leading, you be the leader. If they want to tag along, by all means, go for it. You know, if they don't, hey, no, hard feelings. I'm still gonna be here for you guys. You know, like for my whoever doesn't want to tag along, but I'm going to the top. Like, you know, we have to, like, dude, I didn't come this far just to get this far. You know, I gotta keep going.
Yeah, I've heard that line too before. You know, like we didn't come this far just to make it this far, or just to come this far. And it's so true because, you know, you can't work your ass off. You can't struggle. You can't go through all this just to say like you did all this and then that was it. And that's what some people's life paths is like. They struggled all their life, or you know, parents, family, whatever, struggled all their life, and then they made it that far, and then they still hate it. They still complain like, "There's no way we're gonna be like that." So, man, I really love this conversation. I mean, I loved where today went. It wasn't really that planned. As far as like the idea, like to everyone that's watching, I want you guys to know that our idea today was to be vulnerable, to be open with you guys, to show you that we are also human, that we go through things. We're not perfect. If you don't know us, or if you do know us, you may not even know things that you hear on this, you know, on this podcast, or, you know, we might share certain things with you guys. And that's because, you know, we are trying to help open minds. We're trying to help generations. You know, maybe younger kids are watching this, maybe like-minded people are watching this and they feel like they couldn't open up. And I hope that we are helping that it's okay to do so. Your average person can be something. Yeah,
definitely. And if you guys want, like, if you guys resonate with whatever we say, like, feel free to message us, to put it in the comments, to let us know like what you're going through, because at the end of the day, we're here for you guys, to make this place a better place, right? To make the world a better place, and it starts with ourselves. So just like how my mentor likes to pay it forward, you know, like the saying, like, oh, pay it forward, give $1 to, or pay someone's food or whatever. Or I want to pay it forward with whatever I've learned, especially my Mexican community, right? Because we're so like close-minded, and there's more to that. So if you want to message us, you know, you'll have our social media links, the comments are there. So just write us something, you know. We'll get back to you guys, and we're here for you guys, especially if you're feeling like whatever we discussed that we felt, there's a way out. And before we end, if there's a thing that you could tell your younger self with this conversation, though, what would it be?
If I could tell my younger self
something, like let's say the 18, 19-year-old Skyler, what would you tell yourself based on the conversation, though, not anything else?
The thing that always comes to me when I have to think about my younger self is forgiveness. And I will say that I wish I could have forgiven myself sooner of certain mistakes. I used to play back mistakes in my head, like simple things. I used to make myself, like, I was really hard on myself, and because of that mentality. And I think that if I can give myself something as my younger self, I would hope that it would be teaching myself forgiveness in an early stage of my life, and being okay with mistakes, and being okay with being vulnerable and stuff like that. Because if I was where I was now, at a younger age, I felt like maybe I wouldn't have got those depression, and panic attacks, because I would have been more open with my feelings, more open with my thoughts to you know, my partner, to anyone, just like in general. This didn't come naturally to me. So if it doesn't come naturally to you guys, I highly recommend that you really look deep down in yourself and you think about it, because like, it's okay to have these feelings no matter what age you are. It's okay to cry. It's okay to fucking, you know, everyone always says, well, especially with men, like, oh, big men don't cry or whatever. But no, I teach yourself forgiveness and be okay with your mistakes and take them as learning lessons, because that's one of the biggest things I've learned as getting older and going through life lessons and changes. So now that I've answered that, what would you tell your younger self?
And that's how you grow. Just to finish off, like to add on what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow as a person. That's how you grow. Just accepting and moving on. What would I tell my younger self? Based on the conversation we had, honestly, it will be just to like not care what people say and just step out of my comfort zone. Because I was always, especially moving from Mexico here, like, you know, I had to work harder. Luckily, I was quite good at soccer, so that's what made a lot of people like me, you know, because I wanted me to be on their team. So I made friends easily because of the sport.
Yeah.
And because of that, I always thought, like, I always put myself up here. You know, I was always wanted to be the cool kid. I always never wanted to be like, I never wanted to look dumb in front of people. I always wanted to, you know how it is when you're young. You just want to be cool and that's it. And I wish I would have just like be myself. You know, I wasn't being myself. I was just trying to be the cool Daniel, just to fit in and be cool. Because again, I needed to work harder because I didn't know the language. All I knew was to play soccer and how to say fuck you in English. You know, so probably that just be myself and step out of the comfort zone.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one too. So, I mean, as we finish up and we tie everything together, you know, you guys, everyone that's watching and stuff like that, I mean, you don't have to comment or something, but it would be cool if you're open to it for us to actually see comments. Again, you guys are lacking on the comments, you know. It would be cool to see one thing, what you would, if it would be one thing you would tell your younger self. And that's obviously if it's coming from, if you're like 20, maybe you tell yourself at 15 or 18, if you're 25, something like that, you know. If you're not old enough to know what to tell your younger self, what would you tell your older self? You know, put something in the comments if you want to. If not, it's okay. Or even have the conversation with yourself. Maybe ask yourself what you would tell yourself, your younger self, just to know that you took something from this.
Yeah, I agree. Just make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if this is helping you, and because it's helping us, and I know there's thousands of people that feel the same way, just leave it in the comment, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right. Peace.